The U.S. airline 2020 losses expected to top $35 billion amid a dismal COVID pandemic. Now, but why are we bailing out these industries? Why don't we just make bankruptcy more allowable for these companies so that they learn a lesson, have a cash moat when they're overcharging us for 10 straight years? I have and we have pilot clients who are great people, but I have very little respect for the airline industry, not the pilots and the flight attendants, but the industry. They cram us into planes for years, which were dirty to begin with, and now they want bailouts. Let them go under. And then a new crop of airlines, that's called creative destruction. It's fundamental to capitalism. Now, maybe make bankruptcy less hurtful to people. Maybe it's a 5-year penalization instead of the 7. But will people ever learn sound financial planning techniques like have a large cash moat if they just think the government's going to bail them out? You're going to create moral hazard. So the airlines lost $35 billion. That includes what's expected to be Southwest's first annual loss in more than 4 decades. Now, Southwest, by the way, has made many a millionaire. And a lot of hedge funds and world-class investors. We had a guy, what's his name? Edgar Wackenheim on, who made a fortune literally on Southwest. So now we're really bailing out people like him. I mean, that's where these bailouts go. They really are helping the rich with their stock classes. So I'm not for taxing the rich, but I'm not for, exorbitantly. You have a 15% flat tax, you could be fine. But I'm not for giving these corporate bailouts to industries that really didn't care a lick about me. I remember one time we had children. They split us up all across different seats, so that way they could get each seat. Then they could get the change fees. I have no love for the airline industry. Should we bail out the airline industry? Should we let them go bankrupt? Let them go bankrupt. Let them reimagine themselves to be more consumer friendly. We'll let them reimagine themselves to be more cost conscious. Now, I would be heartbroken about the jobs lost, but we're lacking capitalism. The whole idea with capitalism is you're supposed to have what's called creative destruction. So companies that are bad, that are either not serving their customers, that have not followed sound financial planning, go under, and new companies that are more innovative. Imagine if the government gave a bailout to Barnes & Noble. You'd have never had Amazon drive prices really low. Or let the government give a bailout to Kmart. You would have never had Walmart and Target thrive. So do we want this kind of it's really socialism in a way where we are privatizing the gains and socializing the losses. It's not true capitalism. And then kids growing up think capitalism is bad. Well, it's not capitalism. This is, in some ways, a weird quasi-socialistic dream where it happened with the car companies. We would have had innovation with Tesla 10 years ago. Instead of the innovation we're seeing today, we would have had that innovation much quicker 10 years ago if we let the auto industry fail in 2008. You might say, well, what about this? What about this? The banks, they didn't let the banks fail in 2008. Well, did the banks really do anything? It's the same 4 or 5 big banks that control everything that controlled everything 10 years ago. So we didn't have creative destruction because we didn't have capitalism. Now there's a fintech revolution. We would have that 10 years ago. And case in point, look at Kmart. Nobody gave Kmart a bailout. Nobody gave Barnes & Noble a bailout. Barnes & Noble still exists, but much smaller imprints. They had to innovate a little bit.